You are listening to the Success Leaves Clues podcast,
where we're having conversations with regular people doing outstanding and legacy-changing things in corporate America and entrepreneurship.
If you're looking for the blueprint to help you make less mistakes on your journey to freedom and ultimate purpose, then this is the podcast for you.
And now, here's your host, Dr. K. Dr. K.
Todd Scott, what's going on, brother? Glad to have you on.
What's up, Doctor? How are you, buddy?
Doing all right. Look, founder of Sisu Vida, and I'm really inspired by your business because of the focus that it puts on not only growing corporations, but developing, that person within the corporation to be the best they can be. And you put it in a way that it's the mental gym. You know what I mean? How do you work out, your mind and your inner man?
Yeah, man. I mean, there's the gym is a really great analogy because when you think about it, basically what Sisu Vida is, what I like to refer to it as a gym membership for the mind. So, but when you think of it, a gym membership, you're only going to get out of it what you put into it. If you don't go, there's nothing there. If you go, then obviously you get results. The way that I built Sisu Vida, so kind of to go backwards a little bit, a lot of times when people think of like mindset work or, you go to a conference or a seminar, and I'm guilty of this. I've gone to a lot of them over 25 years. My background is in the real estate industry. I would go to a seminar and every single time, whether it's online, whether it's in person, the very first session for the first 2 hours is always mindset. And for me, I'm as guilty of this as anybody. I'm like, man, I can skip that session because I already know what's in it. I already know it's going to be there's going to be a workbook, there's going to be affirmations and build a business plan and all these things, right? It's always a little bit clunky and it's all the things that you know that you should do, but you're not necessarily doing. And so what I built, and when I say what I built, I didn't create mind shifting. Somebody much smarter than me created the method, but it's a little known method. It consists of six different methods inside of mind shifting. And so what I did is I figured out a way to take it to the masses. But the difference between Sisu Vida and mind shifting in general versus everything else out there in the mindset space is that we're getting to the core identity. We're getting into the subconscious. It's a guided process that gets into the subconscious that's designed to redesign a person's identity. So if somebody knows, so as an example, Dr. Kevin, if somebody knows, hey, I know I should be doing affirmations in the morning. I know I should make a business plan. I know I should be setting goals, but they're not doing it, then we have to ask the question, what's holding somebody back from doing the things they know that they should be doing as it pertains to mind work? And so that's where Sisu Vida really dives in and says, you know what, we're not going to attack it from the action level, right? The action level meaning it's what most life coaches or counselors do. They say, okay, they'll sit down, they'll have a conversation, they'll go, okay, here's what we need to do. And they build a game plan, but all the game plan is based on a bunch of action activities. What we have to do first is we have to fix whatever that limiting identity, the limiting beliefs, but even deeper than that, we have to figure out what the identity is behind somebody that's telling them, hey, I'm not the person that can do this. There's something somewhere in their past, in their history that's telling them, I'm not that guy, I'm not that girl. And we got to fix that first, because if we can fix that, everything else, man, becomes really, really simple and really easy because the limiting beliefs and that limiting identity are gone. And now the actions become really simple.
The way you put that is an identity. And I think it really is a persona that some people embrace or allow to be attached to them. How do you help people really identify that? Because when you're in the moment, it's hard to know that you have that identity. Your future self, you can look back and say, look, this is how I used to be. But when you're in that moment, how do you help people identify that?
Well, yeah, the odds are you don't know that you're in that identity. You have no idea you're in a stuck identity. It's in your subconscious. So the first thing that you have to do as a human being is you have to realize you have a challenge. So let me go backwards and then answer your question. When we talk about the 6 different mind shifting methods, they're all designed for a different purpose. So there's problem shifting. Problem shifting is really saying, hey, what are those day-to-day challenges that you're having? The things that are constantly recurring, or what you might just refer to as mental clutter, right? I'm constantly fighting with my wife. My kids are driving me crazy. I have low energy when I get up. I don't want to get out of bed. I hit the snooze button. I don't want to go to work, lack of motivation, whatever those things are that are constantly recurring. We would use something. Problem shifting is usually kind of the core where we would start, but problem shifting can cure a lot. From there, if we find that the issue is more deep rooted, then we can go to what's called blockage shifting, which takes that a step further and says, you know what, there's something a little bit deeper than problem shifting can solve. We use blockage shifting. Then from there, we use belief shifting for limiting beliefs. We use identity shifting to empower identities. We use trauma shifting for any type of trauma. A lot of times when people think of trauma, they go way back in their past. Like, I was abused as a child. One of my parents died when I was a young kid. I was bullied as a kid. So you have really, really, really deep past traumas. You also have traumas like could have happened a month ago. My girlfriend broke up with me and she told me I'm a narcissist, and you somehow internalize that, and it hurts. You're still, it's in your mind every day. That's it's not as deep rooted of a trauma, but it's still something trauma shifting can resolve. And then at the very back end of it, and when I say back end, I built a series of roadmaps that we can talk about, but then you have reality shifting. And I call that the back end because now this is the action level where reality shifting is about goal achievement, not goal setting, but actual goal achievement, where you can sit down, again, in a guided session. And by the way, this is 24/7 unlimited access, man. I built this thing for the cost of a gym membership. I built this thing for everybody. This is not for the elite. This is not for the wealthy. Anybody can do this. So again, we can talk more about that. But then you have reality shifting, which is very focused on goal achievement. So when I built it out, I built a roadmap mainly for productivity. My target market is going to be the people that you talk to in your podcast, right? Entrepreneurs, business owners, salespeople. It could be real estate agents, mortgage, network marketers. It could be any of those people. And I said, you know what? How can I help these people become more productive? And so I built one roadmap for productivity. Then I said, you know what? This helps everyone, though, from depression. Somebody could be having suicidal thoughts, to confidence, to health and fitness, to spirituality. So I built, I think we're at about 45 or 46 roadmaps now that somebody can say, hey, I feel like I lack confidence. So they can say, okay, here's how I feel. I need to be more confident as a salesperson, but I'm just not where I need to be. So they can take a roadmap for confidence and they can follow that roadmap. So now instead of just randomly jumping into sessions, which is helpful. You don't need the roadmaps. You can get a lot just out of the sessions, but a roadmap will now guide you step by step on how to use the sessions to get to your ultimate goal, regardless of what that goal is.
Man, there's so much in that. The roadmaps I think are phenomenal because it goes back to what I was asking you before about the identity and how you notice that or identify the identity. And I think the roadmaps can help you, along the way with that.
Yeah, the roadmaps are really, at first it started out as a product. Now it's more of an offer, right? It's more of like, hey, you're not just getting the Sisu Vida product, you're getting the roadmaps. I've built out master classes for salespeople, for employees as well, because I do have a corporate side to this, which is called T Scott Elite. So I've now started to build out master classes. And the reason I built that out was to eliminate any confusion somebody might have. They say, you know what? Yeah, I could be more confident, or yeah, I do feel depressed, or I do want to work on my health and fitness and I'm not achieving my goals. I mean, at the end of the day, the only limitations you have as a person, they all start in one place. They all start in your mind. If you can fix your mind, there's absolutely nothing that you can't accomplish. And that's something that I realize now that I wish I would have realized before, but I still had that issue, like I said, with the clunky stuff, with the workbooks and the seminars and the audio. And it's like, I don't want to have to go through all that to get my mind right. This is really, really streamlined and really simple. So the way that it works, Dr. Kevin, is like I said, it's like a gym membership for the mind. So at any point in time, you can go on to, I have a whole back office, a whole member site for my members. Yeah. You go into the member site and say, hey, I want to do a problem shifting session today. You jump into problem shifting, and it gives you a couple just quick reminders of what the session is about, what you want to think of before you jump on. You put your name, your phone number in. Instantly, you get a call back, and you're instantly guided right into a problem shifting session. And typically, you can clear most problems permanently, by the way. I'm not saying every time. Most problems you can clear permanently within 10 minutes. And these are problems that people might be working with a therapist or a life coach for years. And sometimes you can get into somebody's subconscious quickly enough and get it out in as little as 10 minutes. Permanently, where that particular problem doesn't reoccur. Now, if it's more deep rooted, it may not be quite that simple, but it's far more simple than life coaching or therapy or any of the other methods that are out there. So that's the way it works, man. And I'm excited about it. We're actually in launch phase right now, but I'm super excited. What we're going to do is we're going to do some really cool things for people like your audience, like salespeople, entrepreneurs. We're going to have some really cool packages for those people. So anyway, but yeah, that's how the platform itself actually works. So a lot of times, and by the way, it's completely, this is important. It's completely, you're completely anonymous in the whole thing. It's not like you go into somebody's office and you're having this conversation. Like you're completely anonymous in the whole process. It's completely discreet. So you don't have to worry about saying things that somebody is going to judge you by, or you're going to see them on the street, man. It's completely discreet. And I think a lot of people, especially guys maybe, and I'm this way, I think a lot of guys are this way. We're like too proud to go do this kind of stuff. But when you know it's discreet and hey, this is the difference between me and going to another level, whether it's with my business or at the gym or in my personal life, it's a no-brainer.
I think it allows you to be a lot more transparent and honest about your current situation, because you don't feel like somebody's going to judge you or somebody's going to see you later and have that recollection, right? So now they have a picture of you that you may not, want them to have.
Absolutely. You have to be honest. If you can't be honest with yourself, nothing's going to happen. I mean, if you can't be completely transparent and dig down and say, hey, this is my challenge, and it might hurt, man. I mean, some things might hurt, but what are your options? And so when you throw the discrete aspect in, I think it's huge. It's one of those things where there's no limitation. Like nobody is off limits now. I mean, if you're one of those people like, I don't want to go see a therapist, like, great, you don't have to, right? This is completely discreet. Nobody knows you. Now we do see, you are in the member site, so we can see who the members are in the member site. But when you're on a session, it's one-on-one. There's nothing there. Nobody knows anything about what's happening inside of those sessions.
Yeah, Sisu Vida delivers a transformation so quickly that I think it's going to expand probably faster than you could ever think of, because of the word of mouth and the referrals. Because the biggest thing somebody wants is to see quick transformation, and if you can deliver that a lot faster than a therapist, then it's a no-brainer to go with the platform.
Yeah. So what I did initially, when I first rolled this, when I first started to plan this, my idea was to do group sessions on Zoom. And it was just a little clunky for me in a lot of different regards. The main reason I didn't love that method was because now it's like, okay, at 8 o'clock, we're going to do a problem shifting session. At 10 o'clock, we're going to do blockage. At 11 o'clock. And now it has to fit into your calendar, for one. Number two, you can do it and still make it discreet. It's a little harder, but you can still do it and make it discreet, but it's not personalized. About 3 months ago, I made this huge shift. In mid-December, I had this huge revelation that I could do this with 24/7 unlimited access, where you could call in at any time of day, 24/7 unlimited access, and jump into a mind shifting session. And so with that, I went from this mentality of, having 20,000 members 5 years from now to like, dude, this is 5 years from now, I should have millions of members involved in this. And one of the reasons is because, again, it's very cost effective. So a typical mind shifting session might run you $150 to $200 just to sit down with somebody for a half hour, 45 minutes. Just so you know, my retail on this is $11.97 a year or $127 a month. However, My goal is to discount every single membership at least half. And the way that I do that is exactly what you said. Say, hey, look, I will give you, you're going to get the Sisu Vida platform along with a bunch of other goodies that I've built in. I have a mastermind, I have a back office, there's video trainings, there's weekly trainings, there's all kinds of stuff. But they're optional. You can do them or not. The roadmap series, the masterclass series, I've built so much into this, bro, that there's so much value that it's like you can't say no to it. But my goal is to discount for everybody based on referrals. Like, look, man, I don't want to charge you full price. I can make my goal is to reach more people. I built this for people. I didn't build it like it's going to be a huge company, but I didn't build it to be a huge company, honestly. And I'm being completely sincere. I got out of 25 years in the real estate business. I've done really well. I did it for a reason. I did it because I wanted to make a bigger impact on people. And so I don't want to charge a fortune for this. I want it to be accessible for everybody. And so it's like, hey, I'll discount it 50% for you. The only thing I ask is you jump off a mind shifting session, you jump on social media, tell people about a transformation that you had, share it with friends and family, give referrals. Because the goal is I would rather give it to you for way cheaper if you're going to refer 2 or 3 people to me, even if it's over the course of a year, you know. Yeah. But even just getting word of mouth out on social media is huge. And so that is I'm glad that you mentioned that, because that really is the focus, is make it as affordable as possible where I don't go bankrupt. I don't bankrupt myself in the process because I made it so affordable. But yeah. So anyway, but yeah, that is the mission, is really to get it out to the masses. And I think with the way it's built now, and I'm constantly making improvements, but I don't see why 5 years from now we don't have at least 1 million, if not 2 million members. And it's ambitious, super ambitious. But I think there's a way to make this go viral, and we're working on that.
I love that you're offering this for people. So the listeners in the community for Success Leaves Clues podcast are, you know, they're seeing people like yourself that are entrepreneurs, and they have a desire that they want to be great in whatever industry, you know. And a lot of times that first step, or that initial faith jump that it takes to be successful, like you said, starts in the mind. And having a platform like this can help, you know, unleash a lot of that bondage, a lot of that self-limiting beliefs that help them get to that initial step, or that second step that they need to be successful.
Bro, I don't know that I could have built this and got as far along as I did without it. So there's 2 things that have really catapulted this for me. One, in terms of building this business, and by the way, I'm building a second business, which is more the corporate side. Again, it's called Todd Scott Elite. So I'm actually building 2 companies at once and launching both of them. Right, we're literally launching right now as we speak. But without mind shifting and prayer, that's the other one. Without those 2 things, I don't know that I would have ever gotten the ball this far. And so, man, if you're an entrepreneur out there, whatever it is that you do, whether it's Sisu Vida or something else, get your mind right, but get your mind right at the identity and the belief level. Destroy those limiting beliefs. The problem is there's not a lot out there to help you do it. And the stuff that's out there is expensive. But so Sisu Vida is a great solution. But whether it's me or somebody else, you gotta get the subconscious clutter out of your mind if you really want to go to the highest levels. And sometimes even if you want to launch, this will get you from concept to launch. And again, I think you're absolutely right, man. What stops most people in their tracks is 150% their mind, whether it's building a business, getting into the gym, getting their fitness right, getting their nutrition right, getting their relationships right. It's 100% in your mind. Anything and everything is achievable if you get your mind right.
That's a fact. You've built multiple businesses. So a phenomenal real estate business, Todd Scott Elite, Sisu Vida. Take me back before you were able to be an entrepreneur and build those type of businesses. And how did you get your mind right to be able to take those initial steps?
Man, I fought through it. I mean, in all honesty, I battled through it, and sometimes I won the battle, and sometimes I lost the battle. I've started a lot of things that I never, whether it's businesses outside of real estate or whether it's just marketing concepts inside of real estate. There's some things I've done really well. There's some things that I had huge vision for that I never got it to the finish line, and which I would have if my mind was right. One of the things is team building. When I built teams in real estate, one of the things that was really tiresome for me is what I called motivating unmotivated people. And now you're laughing, right? Like, I think anybody that's ever trained a salesperson, right? Whether you're running teams, you're a sales leader in any capacity, or have ever been a sales leader, you feel that pain deeply.
It gets to a point you want it more than they do.
Yes, that's how it feels, right? Dr. Kevin, here's what I came to realize in the last 8-9 months as I was building this. They're not unmotivated. They just don't believe in themselves. It goes back to the identity and the belief system. And now, going back, like as I was building teams, if I would have built teams with Sisu Vida, it was like, I would love to see where that goes. Because when you're just banging your head against the wall and in your mind, you're just guessing and you're just saying, oh, these people are just unmotivated. I have the wrong people. Everybody can be the right person if their mind is right. And so, so anyway, to answer your question, it was trial and error until now. And so I've gotten this to the finish. When I say the finish line, we're really at the starting line. It's the finish line of building the business. Yeah. It's the starting line of now the sales process and getting this out to the masses. But I don't know that I would have gotten it here without it, man. And so that's your answer. Is in the past, I've been in the business world for 25 years. I've had a ton of failure, and a lot of that failure now I realize had to do with limiting beliefs and an identity that wasn't its true version. It wasn't my power identity that I was born into.
So let's say I'm a person who realizes that I have some limiting beliefs or an identity that I need to shift a little bit. And I start with Sisu Vida. Is T. Scott Elite something that I would graduate to, or is that something that's more, solely focused on corporations?
Well, first of all, I would say this. A lot of times what people are going to recognize might not even be a limiting belief or a low identity. What they're going to recognize is, hey, I don't have enough confidence to make 30 phone calls a day, or I'm not strong enough in whatever regard. I'm too shy. I'm not confident. I don't have enough charisma. I don't have enough energy, whatever that might be. So this may not show up as, hey, I have this limiting belief or I have this identity, because that might be in your subconscious. But what is going to show up is how you feel about the activities that you're doing. If you're not energized about the activities you're doing, but it's what you need to do. Like, hey, I can go back and teach for $40,000 a year, or I can make $200,000 a year in the sales world. I'm not going back to teaching, so I'm going to figure this out. Then again, it goes back to the mind. The difference between Sisu Vida and T. Scott Elite is Sisu Vida is more of a business to consumer platform. So this would be for salespeople, entrepreneurs, business owners. Well, Sisu Vida is for anybody. It's for anybody that and really, I shouldn't say it's for anybody. It's actually for everybody. There's not one person in the world. There's no such thing as a superhuman. There's not one person in the world that couldn't massively benefit from Sisu Vida, whether it's on the business level, the personal level. And when I say business, you might just be an employee trying to get a promotion or that next pay raise.
Oh,
you don't
absolutely.
have to be a business owner. On the relationship level, on the spiritual level, on the health and fitness level, there's not one human being on the planet that can't use Sisu Vida. So it's for everybody. T. Scott Elite was something when I built it, I said, I'm going to build it for entrepreneurs, business owners, and salespeople because the reason is, I know those people will invest in themselves. So they're a great target market because we'll all invest in ourselves as long as we see the value, right? But then I said, well, how do you reach the average ordinary person? How do you reach the person that may not right now have a mindset of investing in themselves, but they really, really need what I have? And so I said, what we could do is we could take this to companies and corporations. We could go in and we could build a whole concept where I could go into a company or a corporation and say, look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, it's a 3-step process. T. Scott Elite is a 3-step process.
Yeah.
Step 1 is a keynote on the front end. Step 2 is they get the Sisu Vida platform. And step 3 is a monthly coaching call specifically designed towards that company's workforce to in collaboration with that company in terms of, hey, where are the challenges that we're facing and how they can use the Sisu Vida platform. Number one, to motivate them. I'm not a huge fan of the word motivation. I use a word called gridity, which is motivated discipline. I made that up. I call it gridity. It's motivated discipline, right? Because motivation without discipline is a very, very temporary emotion. And so we need discipline, not motivation. But I like motivated discipline because if you can combine the two, it's powerful. But anyway, so that's a 3-step process. But the answer to your question is that's a business to business platform, T Scott Elite. Yeah. Sisu Vida is just the product. So, and Sisu Vida is incorporated into T Scott Elite as part of that platform. But Sisu Vida is just the business to consumer part of the product.
Yeah, I just imagine how strong and healthy corporations can be. So I know a lot of corporations get almost like a consumer score for their employees, right? Like, what's the best corporations to work for? And a lot of times you get companies like Capital One that rank very high because of their culture that corporation has. And I don't want to bash anybody, but obviously there's companies that rank very low, high turnover, things of that nature. And I could truly see how T Scott Elite and in corporation with the Sisu Vida would enhance the culture of that organization.
There's three components to that. There's 3 huge benefits for a company or corporation. The first one is a benefit to the business to consumer side. Also, it's increasing productivity. Which honestly is just the end result. I didn't build T Scott Elite. In full transparency, I didn't build T Scott Elite to help companies increase productivity. It's just the end result. I built it as a backdoor to get to their employees to help more people with their mind, to really build that elite mindset. That's really the reason I did it. But the end result for a company is, number one, an increase in productivity, statistically researched many, many times over, by the way. You could do very simple Google searches, ChatGPT or whatever, and find lots of statistics. Increased happiness increases workplace productivity by up to 20%, and it increases happier employees increase workplace productivity, and salespeople up to 37%. Wow. So increased productivity is number one. Number 2 is just a great mental wellness program. You're investing into your employees. And by the way, most problems that people have at work aren't work-related problems. They're related to their personal life in some way. They're fighting with their wife. They're having health challenges, right? So Sisu Vida is not just helping them at work. Sisu Vida is helping them come in with a happier, more energized, more productive, more positive outlook when they get to work. It makes them more productive. So it's a mental wellness program, number 2. And number 3, I started thinking about this recently. I know a lot of people in the recruiting business, and I know they charge 25% to hire a really good employee, right? That's their fee, 25% of an annual salary. And I'm like, God, it costs these companies a lot of money to hire and then to retain these people. So if they have to turn a position over, it's expensive. It's actually can be over 100% of a salary for a mid to upper level management person. But anyways, it's super expensive. And so I'm like, you know what? The third benefit of this, that I wasn't even thinking of, is retention. People that are more engaged at work are 87% more likely to stay. So when you build this mental wellness program where now people are coming to work happy, they're more engaged, they're more positive, they're more likely to stay as well. And that when you combine those 3 things, increase productivity, and if you're just looking at it from a numbers standpoint as a company, increase productivity and retention, the T Scott Elite way more than pays for itself, and then you get the huge added benefit of the mental wellness program.
Yeah, there's another piece that you hit on briefly, but the fact that it's not only for entrepreneurs, but you talk about being for employees. And I like to think of all employees as entrepreneurs, especially those that are looking to elevate, up the corporate ladder. You have to start to think of yourself in terms of like ownership, right? And you perform so much better when you have ownership stake and you look at it like, look, how can I solve a problem even though it's not my job, right? I hate hearing people with the it's not my job or walk past trash analogy, right? And you're not going to pick that up because you're not the janitor. Well, I mean, you see the trash, pick it up and just let's help improve the organization. I think things like, your platform helps people get into the frame of mind that, look, I really enjoy being here. I have the positivity and I can look at myself as improving this company instead of just coming to work for a couple hours.
Yeah, I've always said, you know what? If you're flipping burgers at McDonald's, be the best at it. That's what's going to get you the promotion, right? That's what's going to get you noticed. Go in with a smile on your face. Go in with more energy than everybody else, and it will not be long before you're promoted. But along those lines, Dr. Kevin, I built this killer masterclass for corporate and company employees. And it's a 9-step masterclass to your next promotion. And then inside of that masterclass, so it's 9 steps. It's teaching them leadership, networking inside the company. It's like 9 powerful steps to get that promotion, to get them engaged in what they're doing, to take ownership, like you said. I love the word you said. Take ownership in your own company and take control of your own destiny. You want that next pay raise? You want that next promotion? Let's get it done in the next 12 months. So I built out a masterclass using the Sisu Vida platform inside of it to do mind shifting work as they go. You're like, hey, you know what? I'm kind of shy. I don't want to talk to my manager, or I don't want to bring ideas to the table when we're doing round table discussions. I'm too shy to raise my hand and bring ideas to the table. We're going to crush that, man. Right? We're going to crush that with Sisu Vida. So I built out a masterclass specifically for those people. And again, I mean, that in and of itself worth its weight, because if you can get all your people engaged at that level, now, is everybody going to engage at that level? Realistically, no. What if you could get 20% of your people engaged at that level? Right. Yeah. And the other 80% are still doing Sisu Vida and they're doing the program, but you have 20% now chasing the carrot. What would that do to your company culture and your company productivity? And so, I built out a masterclass specifically for those people.
Yeah. The 9-step masterclass is something that reminds me, when I was in the Army, we used to have career counselors. And the benefit of those people is they would help you kind of decide what track you want to be in for promotion. If you want to change your career path, but still stay within the military, what you could do. And when I got into the corporate sector, I started to realize there's nothing. You're out here on your own. I was like, how do you figure out the career path and the track that you want to have to be successful? You might see somebody, not even the C-suite. You just want to be in mid to upper level management, and there's nobody to guide you along the way. And having a program like that is huge.
Yeah, right now the master classes that we have built, so that we have that one. I have one for salespeople, whether they're corporate salespeople or whether they're just whether they're real estate agents or mortgage. So I built one out, a 9-step program for salespeople, and then I built another one for sales leaders. That's what we have right now. I'm looking at other avenues and possibilities, and I want people to understand I want Sisu Vida to feel easy for people, because to get results, all you actually have to do is use the sessions and be honest with yourself and jump into the right sessions and work on the right things. Yeah. The reason I built the roadmaps and the master classes was just to give people more to think about, to give people more, to empower people more to understand their situation. So you might not go through all 9 steps. You might just say, hey, this is the one I really need. You might just focus on step 4, which is the networking, part of the company masterclass, like networking inside of the company, talking to the right people, bringing the right ideas to the table. That might be your weakness, and you might just use that one. So I want people to understand the master class is just a bonus. You don't have to go through classes and all of that stuff. You don't have to do a bunch of training to use Sisu Vida. It's turnkey. It's right out of the box. Wow. You sign up as a member, and within minutes you can jump onto a session because you're having a problem with something. And so you don't have to use them. I just built them as bonuses, but they're powerful. They're super powerful. When you combine the Sisu Vida platform inside of each step and how you can use Sisu Vida to overcome every obstacle, it just gives people more use cases and more it's more thought provoking for people to go, oh yeah, I have this problem and I didn't even realize I had it, you know?
Yeah. I'm glad that you pointed out that you can break out the modules and, do certain, aspects or work on key things as you need to, or that you see fit, because like you stated earlier, none of us are superhuman, right? Life happens to all of us. And even though I might have a healthy mind state today, I could have a couple bad days and just need some tweaking, fine tuning. And it's good to have a platform like that you can refer back to.
Yeah. So what happens is this. Initially, you use the platform a lot because you're working on everything. But once you get to a point where you crush those limiting beliefs and really build that power identity in yourself, the maintenance program typically looks something like this. I'm using problem shifting every time some little mental clutter thing pops into my mind. I get distracted, I get unfocused, I lose clarity, I lack energy this morning. My wife is bickering at me. I'm not married, but I'm just using that example, whoever, right? So, yeah. And so usually what a maintenance program looks like this, a lot of problem shifting as things come up. Okay. Yeah. Something pops up, jump on 10 minutes. You usually have it cleared. And then the other one that I recommend people use at least once a week, preferably on Monday mornings, is reality shifting, which is goal setting. Not goal setting, goal achievement, crushing goals is what I like to call it, the goal crusher session. This is about focusing on goal achievement, right? So you come with a goal, and in the session, we're going to focus on, hey, I want 100%. When you leave, there's going to be 100% certainty in your mind that you're going to achieve that goal by the deadline. So I recommend having at least weekly goals, like, hey, this week, this is what I'm going to get done. And then, of course, monthly and annual, you could have a daily goal. You could jump on a reality shifting session every morning if you wanted to, but I recommend that at least once a week, preferably on Sunday night or Monday morning, to get those goals straight for the week. So that's what the maintenance program looks like. And that's why you want to have that annual membership, at a huge discount, that I will give as long as you'll give testimonials. And so, but that is, so then you have the maintenance program, and you said it, you could spend $175 every time something comes up, or you can just have your membership sitting there that you already paid for, that was cheap, that you just have instant access to anytime that you need it, where you're like, dude, I'm not going to make it through today. Like, my low energy, these meetings I have today, I'm not going to function at my optimal unless I get my mind right. And then it's there, dude. It's instant.
Yeah. Wow. I can't honestly see anybody having the excuse anymore of why they can't be successful, or why something in their past is holding them back. The days of that is gone.
100%. 100%. And I have to say, I get it. Like, I get you. If you've gone through mind work, if you're like me and you've been in the business for 25 years and you've sat through all these mind sessions, and you're just like, dude, if I got to hear about, I came here to learn about building sales funnels. I don't want to hear about mindset. First of all, there's a reason that all these people are doing mindset first, but you're absolutely right, man, because the challenge in the past has been that we're not hitting the identity component. If I built a pyramid, just as a visual, if I built a pyramid, at the top you have actions, the next level down you have thoughts and emotions, the next level down you have beliefs, and at the foundation you have identity. If you look at the top of the pyramid, this is where most mindset coaches operate from, is, hey, you need to do this. Or you might even hear a sales coach go, just tough it out, right? Like, you're just like, just like that works for what, 3% of the population? What about the other 97%? So then you got to work down that pyramid. You got to work from the bottom of the pyramid up. Identity, beliefs. If you get your identity right, you destroy those limiting beliefs, then your thoughts and emotions are positive, and now we can take the actions that we need to take. And so, yeah, when you look at it in that regard, yeah, there is no excuse. Honestly, you don't need another class. You don't need, all you need is the right program. And then once you have the right program, and here's the cool thing, Dr. Kev, is that you can't fail unless you don't use it. Like if you don't go to the gym, you're not going to get stronger.
Yeah,
You buy a gym membership and you don't go, you're not going to get stronger. The only way you fail is to not go to the gym. This works the exact same. You cannot fail. You don't have to do affirmations. I'm not saying don't do affirmations. I'm not against affirmations. I'm just saying if you don't like all the clunky stuff, then stop doing the clunky stuff. This will, think of it as like a 10-minute morning meditation session. Wow. It's not too much different. It's not the same. I'm not trying to compare it as the same, but it's not too much different because you're spending 10 minutes to just calm yourself and get your mind right. So yeah, you're absolutely right, man. There is no excuse.
Yeah.
Other than you're unwilling to invest in yourself. I mean, and by the way, if you're unwilling to invest in yourself, you need to do a mind shifting session so we can figure out what the identity is telling you that you want to invest in yourself. Let's start with that one.
Let's start with that one. That's a good one to start with. Look, I'm definitely going to have the information and links in the description, for this episode and stuff. Let's get as many people directed to this platform as possible because I just, I'm a bit of a dreamer, man. So I just imagine not only a corporation, I imagine a world just society of people who just have better mental health, a more positive attitude. Just think about how good things could be, period.
Which again, man, it goes back to why I built it. Like for me, I got to a point, in the last couple of years, I was like, man, I want to make an impact in the world. Real estate sales is not it. I'm making good money. I wasn't actually happy, honestly. It wasn't my purpose. Like I really actually just found my purpose. And that's the other thing I would encourage people is it's hard to find your purpose. Do some mind work and find your purpose. Because once you find your purpose, life gets really, really exciting. And so, you can do mind work to find your purpose. But for me, yeah, it's just, I just wanted to do something that was impactful. And I agree with you, man. There's just so much mental ferocity out in the world now. When you look at politics and you look at all these things, it's like, man, let's get back on the same page. If nothing else, we talked a lot about how this applies to the business world. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I built this for people, man. I built this to help people live an amazing life. I like to call it the hero of your story. Let's help you become the hero of your story. It's not an option. If you have kids, if you have a family, it's not an option to fail. Do you understand it? Like it's not an option to fail. You have people relying on you. So failure is not an option. So again, this is the platform to help you really make that breakthrough and become that hero of the story, whether it's for your family, your friends, your business. And then the other thing I would probably leave you with is this. I know a lot of your audience, Dr. Kevin, they're business builders, they're entrepreneurs, they're business owners. They have that mindset. I would encourage you to understand that this is not just for you. If you want to build people, the hardest, and we talked about it earlier, but the hardest part of building a great sales team and building people is their minds are not right. I mean, if you're a network marketer, a real estate agent, a mortgage person, think of the people that you're hiring. Think of their backgrounds, their teachers, their police officers. They don't have your mindset. They're bartenders. I came from the bartending background. I didn't have the mindset 25 years ago that I have today, for sure. You have to think about where these people are coming from. Where are your people coming from? And you're like, well, why don't you think like me? Well, they don't think like you because they don't have the same life experiences. They don't have the same background as you. So if you want to put them on a level playing field, you've got to get their mind right, or you're going to really, really struggle to build big. If you can get their mind right, man, you can build really, really large, and you can do it where you don't have this crazy stressed life where you're not asking yourself what I was asking myself, which is why am I motivating unmotivated people? And the reality was I just didn't understand them. I didn't understand them, and I didn't take the time to understand them.
Look, I don't want to skim over anything. I know that you said those were your, closing remarks, but I don't want to skim over something.
Yeah.
So
no, go. I'm good.
You talk about this application and this platform being for people, and I want everybody to think about it like this and understand. You may have a perspective on politics or on the government, but our government is people. Corporations and the place you work is people. It just has a title of whatever corporation or S Corp or LLC, but those are people. And all the way down, like you said, to sales teams, it's comprised of people. So I think we should all really start focusing on that, people.
Yeah, 100%. And, again, it's why I built inside of the roadmaps. I have 8 different sections, right? I have the business builder, I have health and fitness, I have personal growth, spiritual. So I have 8 different platforms in there. And I did it for a reason. I started with one roadmap. I had no intentions of building anything more than one roadmap. And then I'm like, you know what? I didn't just build this for business owners and salespeople. It was my original thought. But I'm like, if I'm really doing this for people, if I wasn't doing it for people, I would have never built all the roadmaps, and I would have never built T Scott Elite, because T Scott Elite was just a backdoor to get into a lot of these employees and a lot of these people that will never invest in themselves. So I'm like, hey, how about we get the company to invest in them, right? And so if I didn't build it for people, I would still have one roadmap. I would be focused on one audience. I'm like, I'm not going to do it. I mean, I still think my biggest audience is probably going to be, entrepreneurs and business owners, but I don't want to eliminate anybody, because there's too many people out there that need what Sisu Vida offers. I would say this also. I want to throw one more. I want to throw another thing out there. If you know somebody that's struggling with like depression, like serious depression, right? And they just absolutely cannot afford Sisu Vida, reach out to me directly. We'll take care of them 100%. Right? If they just absolutely 100%, like they're just living in poverty, but they're facing like true obstacles, man, we'll take care of them. It's not all about money for me. Like, yeah, we need to make money to survive. And a lot of the money that we make will be dumped back into communities, because I always say, like, kind of the thing I adopt is like, my purpose is not to be a billionaire. My purpose is to impact billions of people over generations. And that's what we're set out to do.
Man, that's phenomenal. I thank you so much. I thank you for the platform. I thank you for making this people oriented. I thank you for sharing with me and the audience. But I just want to add one more thing that's just on my heart. You offered to help somebody that is, financially struggling, but still has a mental, health problem or some things that they want to work through. I'm going to offer to sponsor somebody. If you come across somebody that's in the same need, let me know and I'll sponsor them.
Yeah, that's awesome, brother. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you, the conversation and the work that you do and the people that you reach.
Thanks. Appreciate you, T. Scott. Until next time.
Thanks, my man.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Success Leaves Clues podcast.
Be sure to follow Dr. K on Instagram at Dr. K Washington or the podcast page at Success Leaves Clues Podcast. We'll see you here next time.